Welcome back to Omega Strikers Nation. This is BunnyMuffins, and today we're going to be going over 7 ways you are hurting your goalie without even realizing it. As a forward player, I'm guilty of these mistakes too, but don't worry, we'll be roasting our auto-filled goalies right back in our next video, so subscribe below if you have not already. My friend is a goalie, and this is what he is complaining about every single time he solo queues. You've done it, I've done it, we've all done it. Here are the mistakes. First things first is bad positioning. So if you're an edgelord like me and you like to be at the edges of the map, this could work in a lot of other different strategy games, especially in battle royales. But we are not playing a battle royale anymore. We're playing Omega Strikers. If you're near the edge, you're asking for a one-way ticket to a shameful respawn. Maintain your distance and know which enemies can punish you when you're on the edge. The next mistake that he complains a lot about is hitting the ball directly at the goal. It makes sense, right? In soccer or air hockey, it's always good to aim the ball at the enemy's goal, right? But why are you hitting it directly in a straight line at the opponent's goal when it could be easily deflected because their goalie is sitting right there? Instead, you can do some math and get some geometry going, right? Maybe bounce it around a couple of walls. Maybe pass it to a teammate or juke around the goalie trying to save it. The possibilities are endless. Mistake number 3 is striking first. What? I thought first strikes are a good thing, right? Well, sometimes striking first isn't the best thing to do. I know it sounds counterproductive, but the cooldown on your basic strike makes it so that if you hit first, they can hit the ball right back if an opponent is right next to you, and your strike will still be on cooldown. A lot of easy goals are scored when it's a 1v1 between a forward and a goalie, and the person who hits first normally loses. Mistake number 4 is not being open for passes. It's fun to beat up on enemies, especially if you're playing a champion like X, but at the end of the day, the team that scores the most goals wins. The best way to score is to be in position so that the goalie can't make the save. In hockey, we call this a one-timer. It's a tried and true tactic that works against the best goalies in the league. Why fight the enemy for possession of the core when you could just be wide open instead and give your teammate or goalie an option to clear the core without any risk of it being intercepted by an enemy? The next mistake is sitting in the goal with your goalie. You're a forward. They're a goalie. Why are you in the goal? I know it might seem like you're helping, but at the end of the day, you're making it harder for the goalie and your other forwards to do their job. Move up and play your role effectively. Of course, there are times when you do need to help out your goalie, but a lot of times some forwards just sit in the goal with the goalie and do not contribute much when the core is in the midfield or on the opponent's side of the game. The next mistake is playing too aggressively. Sometimes the forwards are going all the way to the other end of the spectrum, and now they're playing Super Smash Bros. Instead of soccer. There's a time and place for being aggressive, but if you're ignoring the team and the ball in order to just try to beat up some enemies, you're just as bad as the guy who sits in the goal. Of course, knockouts are great, but know when to go for them and when not to. The last tip is stop chasing the ball. Are you a dog? No, you're a human, I hope. So maybe put a little strategy into your gameplay. A lot of ways forwards play that goalies complain about is people acting like robots as if they're coded to just go directly to where the ball is and forgetting to anticipate any sort of bounces. Instead, try to guess where the ball is going to be and where you want to redirect it once it gets to you. That wraps up the 7 mistakes that my goalie friend complains about the most. If you are a goalie, let me know which mistake resonated with you the most and which ones did we not include on this list that you think should be there. If you're a forward, have you been guilty of these mistakes? As a forward player myself, I sure have. But don't worry, we'll get back at all the goalies by complaining about what they do in our next video.